So now, it was pertaining to with regard to the Zayat, I was just explaining what the orphan was, because a lot of misconceptions about the orphan.
Right.
And some people think it's the mother and the father being deceased when it's not. When it's just the father.
So it's not the mother.
Before a certain age, it's not the mother.
It's just the father.
The ulama explained that it's not the mother. It's not both parents. It's just the father.
Okay. Okay.
So the ayat mean كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين. Nay, but you treat not the orphans with kindness or generosity, and urge not one another on the feeding al miskin, the poor. Meaning, this means the Shaykh Ibn Kathir, rahimahullah, he said, the poor man who has nothing to sustain him, right, and suffice his needs, right? He said the poor man, that's where the orphan, a miskin is. You got two, sometimes you have some interchangeable or changeable synonyms, some words that mean the same thing when they not mentioned in the same context. For instance, you got fakir, the plural for that is fuqara. Miskin, the plural for that is masakin. If you look at Surah Tawbah, Surah number 9, ayah 60, Abdul Rahman Sa'di, rahimahullah, Uthaymeen teacher, explain that ayah. He mentioned both of them, fakir, fuqara, and he mentioned miskin, masakin. He mentioned both of them in plural form in an ayah. But he put fuqara before masakin, talking about the poor, in the same context. When they mention together, they take on their own individual meaning. Nah? So now, the reason why he mentioned fuqara and then he mentioned masakin right after, when Allah mentions something, he mentioned that which is most important in degree, the scholars say, then he mentioned that which is less priority or less in degree. So he mentioned fuqara because they are poorer than the masakin first. Nah? Therefore, anytime you see a fuqara is mentioned by itself or masakin, it will cover the meaning of the other. Okay. It's like Islam and Iman. If you mention Islam and Iman is not in the same context, it covers the meaning of Iman. Okay. And if you mention Iman by itself without Islam, it covers the meaning of Islam. Okay. But when you mention them in the same context, they take on their own individual meaning. Okay. Same thing with Rahman and Maghfirah. Okay. Same thing with and Ma'rifah. Knowledge and A'rif. Both mean they both mean acknowledgement and knowledge. But when they mention in the same, one is of old. For instance, if you go into A'rif, which is Ma'rifah, and you go into Alam, which is knowledge, Allah is not A'rif. Why? It's not the name of Allah, He's not A'rif. A'rif is knowledge. It's superseded by ignorance. It happened to come upon a person by them studying and gaining it. Is that which is of old. It's not superseded by ignorance. That belongs to Allah. It was always there. So that's the difference that the alim explained between the two. But when they mention in the by themselves, it covers the meaning of the other. But when they mention in the same context, it take on their own individual meaning. So they all called interchangeable synonyms. So what do you mean by this miskin? I was just giving you a little point right here, trying to point something out. That when you see miskin, sometimes you'll see fakir. And they cut, it takes on another meaning. But what he's saying right here, y'all mistreated and treated kindly, and he's explaining the word miskin, talking about the poor. Meaning, the poor man who has nothing to sustain him and suffice his needs. The fakir, the scholar said, Abdul Rahman As-Sa'di, rahimahullah, he said, the fakir can't cover none of their needs. The miskin can cover a portion of their needs. That's the difference why Allah put fakir first, and he prioritized it. And then he put miskin. And that's why he did that. Abdul Rahman As-Sa'di explained. So he prioritized when he mentioned, and we'll get into that another time about how Allah prioritizes and mentioned that which is more important first, then he mentioned that which is less in degree. And work his way down like that. So we're gonna go on. It says, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. When you hear wail is a particular word that's used several times in the Quran. But when it's mentioned like wailul kulli humazatul lumaza, woe to the slander and backbite. Wailul musafifin, woe to those who deal in fraud. Then you got wailul musallin, all of those perform as a salah.
Right.
What do you mean by woe? Woe is the spot, right? A makan finnar in the hellfire, and it's harrun shadid. It's extremely hot. It eats at other parts of the hellfire, the scholars say. It deteriorates it. That the hellfire itself seek the protection of Allah 7 times each day from that part of the hellfire. What was it for? For the slander and backbiter. For those who give less in portion and want more in portion back. Those who deal in fraud. They give you less, but they want more. No? And those who practice part of the book and leave the rest like the Yahud did. Now, the walls upon them, and those who offer their salat, who are musallin, those who are sahun, they offer their salat, the munafiqeen, those hypocrites, they're hasty to the salat, they pray in public, but fi sirr, in secret, they leave it off. They really hate it. Now, what do you say? It says, in the 5th Nawaqidul Islam, the time is up. What you say?
I was just saying we have 6 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's too much. So I'm gonna stop, right? But